Hello, welcome everyone to the semi-final round of the Mox Masters August event. This is, of course, part of the Mox Masters series that we put on every single month here at Playing with Power. And this is one of our last few events before the Invitational. This is one of 3 final Mox Masters events to pick up points if you want to earn your qualification into the Invitational. And of course, after 5 long Swiss rounds that thankfully are less long thanks to the new switch to the timing for 75-minute rounds, we have a top 16. So yeah, exciting magic that we're going to see here in our top 16. Of course, untimed rounds, and as always, plenty of spicy decks to look at. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at what our first pod we're going to be looking at is. As they are still resolving mulligans. Yeah, I really like these cEDH events as we've been hosting them a lot because we see familiar decks, familiar faces, but also with still no shortage of the spicy cEDH magic that we have all come to know and love. And this pod is no exception. You can see here in first seat, we have Dargo Tymna. That's a Mardu combination that I don't think you see as much. I've seen like Tymna Jessica and that kind of stuff. Dihada more recently, but Dargo and Tymna, I don't see that one as much, especially these days. Second seat, you got definitely. Tivit. Third seat, you got Kinnan. I think we both know what those decks do quite well. And then the fourth seat is Riona Fire Dancer. I have never seen this deck before. TK, what is your take on this take on Riona that TTC has put together here?
Okay, so I've actually seen Riona a couple of times, and every time it's the most fun game ever. It definitely does, like, most builds are usually into like infinite attacks, infinite combat steps. Especially Riona is a card you see a lot in Winota doing that kind of thing. And so having Riona as its own commander, you can do a lot of crazy things like play Blood Moon and not worry about anything. All of your opponents can just stop playing and you can just have fun. Yeah, it's a crazy build. One of the crazier mono red builds, I would say, in our today's meta. But yeah, this pod composition is insane. Mardu Summer over here in seat 1.
Yeah. You see the shirts, the Mardu Summer shirts people started rocking?
Absolutely.
Those are sweet.
Dude, yeah. They're so sick. Oh my God. Yeah, Tivit, kind of one of the newer boogeymen of the format. It seems like everybody has some crazy Tivit story. I don't know, Ward 3 is very scary. And then
hard to answer. People barely play removal as it is, and you slap Ward 3 on it, and nobody's targeting your thing. This thing is invincible.
What are we talking about? I have to pay 3 extra on this Abrupt Decay. What are we talking about?
Right, not going to happen. Absolutely not.
Yeah, and then Wounded Satellite playing Kinnan over here. That Kinnan is insane. It's like, I don't know. I've seen a lot of people switch from Thrasia's builds to Kinnan lately, and I don't blame them. It's got a lot going on for it.
So as these players are still resolving mulligans, who do you like in the pod? Obviously, as always, hard to vote against first seat, but given the 2 blue decks in the pod, especially the second and third seat, where I think are kind of have this mutual interest not to just die to a fast start from Hercules, do you think that's going to be enough to stop Hercules from being a strong favorite here, or are we still just powering through it, Mardu Summer all the way, baby?
My guess, looking at what like usually Dargo and Tymna tries to do, it's a lot of gas. It goes fast if left unanswered, but can be set back with well-planned interaction. And Tivit and Kinnan don't have a shortage of that. If they keep hands with interaction, I think Dargo and Tymna could have a hard time trying to set up a win. And that would leave my guess here, just totally picking out. I think Riona is in a good spot, even though it's in seat 4. Yeah, okay. I think if Tivit and Kinnan can use their interaction to focus on kind of the speed that Tymna and Dargo is definitely going to have out of the gate, I think Riona can capitalize on that and kind of sneak through because it's very creature heavy, which a lot of decks are not apt, especially blue center decks, to like deal with outside of something like a Cyclonic Rift or something like that. So I think that, yeah, seat 4 is actually in a good spot despite being behind all of that, just because Dargo and Tymna is in the first seat, and that's going to scare a lot of interaction away, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that kind of composition happen before. A deck like cedh comes to mind, where you have the blue players hunkered down with all their interactions, stuff like that. But of course, the best interaction in the format is mostly negates. So if some fast storm decks are really trying to go off pretty quick, we've seen multiple times players get
Yeah.
stopped, and then whatever deck is just putting creatures in play, kind of trying to play it a little more fair, not really kind of coming out the gate super strong. Riona would be really well set to just pick the game up off the ground post interaction fights. And yeah, I mean, in 4 seat, that's kind of the spot you're kind of forced into anyway, given that you can't really have the same explosive starts that the players going before you can present, given you're in 4 seat, everybody has time to set up before you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you think about that composition from that set, I think they're pretty good. Also, though, Dargo Timna is in seat 1, so if they can set up, all of their rituals and everything that I know they're playing turn 1, and Tivit and Kinnan don't have the answer, they can also easily walk away with this game. I'm thinking like a turn 2 Nas, and we're ready to pack it up.
Yeah, like silence in the Nas. Like there's a certain amount of busted hands that the Dargo Timna. I've seen so much Dargo Thrasios on this stream. It's hard to recalibrate. But the Dargo Timna deck can put forth, some really, really broken hands that just power through interaction. And there is a little bit of a risk there. And we saw Temujin there, the Tivit player in 2nd seat, make some pretty aggressive mulliganing. Now, it's unclear if we're looking for just kind of a functional hand, something that really has a game plan, or if we are actually looking for some interaction, knowing that you're kind of on the hook. Like you and the Kinnan player together are more or less on the hook. But as the Tivit player looking to slow the game down in order to win with Time Sieve post Tivit resolving, I have to imagine that we're going to be looking to slow the game down in some capacity, and finding some interaction of some kind, be it permanent based or spell based, has to be part of that mix.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm thinking probably looking for something like a Drain of Magistrate would be really good early on. That stops Dargo from using a lot of the rituals that they're known for, like Culling the Weak and stuff like that. Maybe slow them down. Rionia, it's really hard to play without it. And same thing with Kinnan as well. I mean, yeah, you have interaction, but that's kind of the spot that Tivit would want anyways, is Kinnan kind of using their interaction to help out, and then kind of stealing the way from there.
We see here Kinnan turn 0 Gemstone Caverns, I believe exiling a Force of Will as the card pitched to Gemstone Caverns. So I don't know if that sends any specific signals. Now the Kinnan player did keep 7 cards, and just having Gemstone Caverns is a pregame effect does threaten the ability to do something like Kinnan turn 1, Fierce maybe backup. But I mean, a strong statement perhaps from the Kinnan player about the density of interaction in hand to be able to just confidently pitch that Force of Will to your Gemstone Caverns.
Yeah, that sends a message for sure. I definitely would be looking at that like, okay, so there's something going on there. I have to be wary of that. But also that could be, a smokescreen as well, trying to scare the other players into thinking, hey, I have this interaction here. Slow down, watch out.
Don't try it. Don't try it. I got you rolled up. Turbo Winks Up Teeth and a fetch from Hebrew Hercules. Have to imagine we're going to be finding some manner of planes. Now we'll see if we actually have any follow-ups here. Not really any cantrips. Like you're not really like Preordains, Ponder, stuff like that going to be present in most cEDH decks, much less a Mardu one, which can't play those cards at all. So have to imagine it has to be some sort of mana development or some kind of meaningful attempt at like a wheel or a win or something if we're fetching now.
Yeah, definitely. My thoughts could be towards an Esper Sentinel of some kind, maybe.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah, Esper Sentinel, maybe some rituals into more mana rocks of some sort. Hopefully, with the fetch, I'm thinking something like along those lines.
Plateau is the find, so Esper Sentinel certainly looking more likely than a Dark Ritual as far as the texture for this turn. Of course, it's turn 1. Things like Dockside don't even work. And it is Esper Sentinel. Called it like you always knew. And a Mox Diamond follow-up. That one going to happen, pitching a Gemstone Mine. So mana to boot and a card advantage engine already set up. A very strong start, I'd say, for this pod from Hebrew Hercules.
Absolutely. And if I was a betting man, I'm definitely going to bet on that Esper Sentinel being fed.
Well, here it is. Here's Tundra Mana Vault feeding already dialed up from the Tivit player. But Mana Vault presenting a big deal for Tivit. That really does a lot to get Tivit out ahead of schedule as we move over to Wounded Satellite, who doesn't really need to get too far ahead of schedule as Mana Crypt the play. Right away. No land yet. Looks like Beseju Who Endures is the land. So now we have Kinnan if we want it. Then 3 mana after with Mana Crypt. We'll see if we do deploy Kinnan here.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really strong start as well. And back to what you were saying about Tivit, yeah, being what 2 mana away from a Tivit on board is pretty good. Yeah, these are some strong
Especially with a
starts here.
Rhystic Study here. And then an Elvish Mystic, the follow-up. This has got to be close to one of the best hands I think Kinnan can present. We exiled Forest of Will. We have Rhystic Study as your turn 1 play and more mana development in the form of Elvish Mystic. And you don't even have to pay. This isn't a Mystic anymore. You don't even have to pay for this Rhystic Study. I mean, not as good going third. Obviously would have liked this hand a lot more going first, but some great setup for Wounded Satellite, and especially to be able to fight through any kind of Storm Turns or Hebrew Hercules might have. And then TTC, your sleeper pick, going to start on Sandstone Needle tapped and Jeweled Lotus. Also really good mana development. So some strong hands from all these players.
Yeah, no, they're developing really nice in his early turns right here. Interested to see how that Rhystic Study gets played around, especially when, like you said, Hero Hercules is going to definitely go for a storm at some point. That's how the deck wins. So interesting to see.
Well, we got more setup here in the form of Professional Facebreaker. That does trigger the Rhystic Study. I believe we're choosing not to pay, maybe. I think we are paying. Yeah, we did go ahead and pay there. And now free to go ahead and attack with the Esper Sentinel. That will threaten to make a treasure right away. So turn 1 Esper Sentinel, turn 2 Professional Facebreaker. You kind of get your cards set up, you get your mana set up. I mean, this is a good spot to be. I mean, you could threaten Tymna on the next turn, get more cards running, and you're actually pretty well set up in that position to fight underneath this Rhystic Study, especially for a deck, like we said, possible to do storm kills with this Dargo Tymna. But part of having Tymna in your command zone is you just have this pivot available to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, like you said, you've got now a mana outlet in the form of Professional Facebreaker. You've got 2 card advantages that you can really leverage with the Esper Sentinel and the Tymna. And with 2 players right now not even having blockers, that Tymna is seeming really good right now.
How about Sea of Clouds Pass from our Tivit player? No effects at all. 1 land away, or whatever, some black mana source from casting Tivit. Does not choose to do it this turn, instead just passing, potentially threatening some interaction.
Yeah,
Breeding Pool
yeah,
untapped for Kinnan.
Mm-hmm.
I have to imagine we're going to see Kinnan now, and we sure do. Here comes Kinnan Bonder Prodigy. That one's going to juice up the Elvish Mystic and the Mana Crypt in play.
Yeah. Kinnan has so much mana too. That Kinnan is actually really scary if it sticks on the board. Because I can definitely see some Kinnan activations coming out.
Yeah, very soon. I mean, I think as soon as next turn. And we're looking at, Kinnan, if you answer it, you could just cast it right away next turn. No problem. Thank you. And that's part of the power of this Kinnan deck. If we're slowing the game down, all right. I mean, even removal may not be good enough as we go over to TTC, deploying a snow-covered mountain. Access to Sandstone Needle and Jeweled Lotus mana. We'll see if we're interested in doing that kind of thing with an early Riona, or if we want to wait a little bit.
Yeah, I would say, you want to wait a little bit here, right? Maybe develop some other of the like red advantage pieces, if possible. Just because, you've got Tivit over there with mana open for days. You want to find a way, I think, to slow Kinnan down, if anything, and definitely get some bodies on board, because that Tymna is definitely coming down, and you're getting swung at for sure.
Yeah. I mean, and part of the equation too is like Kinnan puts a lot of creatures in play. There's already a lot of creatures in play for Hebrew Hercules, excuse me. The Tivit player is actually very much in the market for a sweeper if they have one in hand. And they do play multiples. I mean, we're seeing a copy of Languish and a copy of Toxic Deluge, among other removal spell effects in this Tivit deck that we're seeing here. So if you do play a Riona, which we have decided to do, those sweepers could be good against you, but Riona is so mana intensive that not using your mana has a big cost as well. And in 4C, you might not really be able to play that much around it. We'll see, as TTC has deployed Riona and passed back to Hebrew Hercules, who now gets to untap with Esper Sentinel and Professional Facebreaker at the ready. Tymna available in the command zone if we want to do that.
Yeah, and if Tivit doesn't have any blockers, I'm looking at a nice little draw here.
Yeah, I mean, Facebreaker against Menace, right? So you can come at TTC with Facebreaker, come at Temujin with Esper Sentinel, 2 cards, 2 treasures. I mean, that ain't bad. That ain't
Yeah,
bad at all.
I was just saying, I forgot about the menace too. That's one of the parts of that card that I think a lot of people forget is the menace too. It's not just like a budget grim hireling in that sense.
Yeah, a little upgrade, a little bit of an upgrade.
Yeah.
And then we do see combat happen. 2 treasures on the way for Hebrew Hercules. I guess we're resolving the Timna. No, we have ticked up the treasures. And 2 cards coming off of Timna as well. Land as a follow-up on second main is Polluted Delta. Let's see if we have any more effects. Access to 4 mana now.
Yeah, no, 4 mana has to be thinking about pulling off some sort of Storm Turn, but the only thing is that Risk Study is still there.
Yeah, I mean, we have some other non-storm lines, I think. Like the presence of cards like Mayhem Devil make me really think like there's like a Ruthless Technomancer. I believe that has like some really complicated lines with like Dockside and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That you can do the Dargo lines as well. And I think that's part of the power of having Dargo in your command zone. We've seen that from the Thrasios Dargo deck before, where Dargo just presents like some combo potential in the command zone. And then if your other commander just has text or whatever, getting access to red is not something you're going to sniff at. So this Mardu deck having the ability to kind of grind a little bit, if things do get a little hairy as far as like rule of laws, or you think there's going to be a lot of interaction, or in this case, a Ristic Study, maybe we do reach for those kinds of combos.
That's true. If a rule of law or the game was to get slowed down, Dargo is a really good pick, especially just because it's so big too. So you can just bully your opponent.
You can even just beat down with it. Like, which attack? 3 hits, you're dead. I don't know how long you want to sit here.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably the best part about Dargo too. It's like, yeah, it's a combo piece out of the command zone, but if we really want to get down and dirty with it, I can't just swing at you, and it will do damage.
Right.
Hurt a lot. Yeah.
Badlands is going to be the find off Polluted Delta for Hebrew Hercules. Seems like there's some kind of a follow-up. So each treasure here, how much mana does that make for Dargo? 3?
Let's see.
Is it 3?
3, yes, but I guess you would only have to sack it. Yeah, you sack 3 treasures. I know just as a Dargo play myself, you crack the treasures for something else. Maybe tap the land for...
Well, you can crack them for mana,
mana,
right? Just like sack for mana, and then tap the land. We could have cracked 2 treasures in the land to cast Dargo this turn if that's what we wanted to do. Chose not to, it looks like, as I believe Temujin has untapped and drawn already. So fetched right away, potentially respecting something like Opposition Agent before Temujin has access to black mana. And passed the turn right away, choosing not to put Dargo into play. Grim Monolith looks like gonna be the play for Temujin. Mana floating off of Mana Vault after that.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, definitely got to be looking for a black source of some sort.
Right, this is going to trigger. This is going to trigger both draw effects here. We have Esper Sentinel and Ristic Study both getting triggered off of this Grim Monolith. Could use the Mana Vault mana to pay, but I have to imagine if we're just deploying Monolith, then we have something to do with the mana this turn.
Yeah, definitely. If you're going from Mana Vault to Grim Monolith, it seems either. Yeah, it would make sense to just pay the Esper. Or not. Yeah, like you would use that for something else now that I'm thinking about it.
It sounds like with the mana that you're going to potentially lose, there's some politicking happening on who's to pay for. And looks like we paid for the Esper Sentinel and let the Kinnan player draw a Ristic Study. The turn passed. We're going to see if we win this Mana Crypt roll.
Yeah, I got to be wondering if there's some
Took
mana
3 off
here.
Of Mana Crypt. Yeah, I mean, certainly some color screw. Like, you do need access to black mana in this deck. You even have double black crypts, like I mentioned before, cards like Languish. Gonna be hard to cast.
Yeah.
Misty Rainforest quickly played and cracked by Wounded Satellite. And with all this mana and that quick of a fetch, I don't know. It seems Wounded Satellite's pretty confident.
Yeah.
Tropical Island's the find. I don't know what we could have here. Is it just Kinnan activation? We have that dialed up.
Yeah, I think a Kinnan activation is likely. I would see you would use that maybe on a opposing player's turn and hold it up. Maybe the scare, interaction, smoke screen again, like we were talking about. You could definitely do that. But I guess if you're looking for, any type of progressing the board state, yeah, Kinnan activation right here is very likely.
Yeah, something I want to touch on real quick, looking at the deck list. I've seen Kinnan builds that like don't play as much of like the large creatures. Of course, I'm talking about like whatever the Gingittaxius, the Void Winnowers, those kinds of stuff, and reach more to go for the monolith kills and just find a Thrasios and win that way. Something a little bit faster. More and more I've seen them kind of move to like having these massive creatures that you can hit off of Kinnan, and this deck is very much in that camp. I mean, we have the Consecrated Sphinx, Hullbreaker Horror, Tidespout, Nezahal, Nyx Bloom, the works. We have everything.
Yeah, Perplexing Chimera. Oh my god.
Yeah, Perplexing Chimera is something we've seen recently and that has been very impressive. And the One Ring is going to be deployed for Wounded Satellite.
Love that card.
Have you heard about this one? This one's pretty strong. Let me tell you about it. Indestructible, protection from everything. You got protection from everything now. So nice Tymna triggers. Not going to deal damage to me. No, thank you. And card advantage dialed up.
Absolutely, that and the Ristic Study. Wounded Satellite is in a great position right now. You've got all the mana. We got
cards. We got mana. Yeah, we just need to find things to do with those. Cards let you play mana, so we're gonna let you use your mana. Draw a card off One Ring right now.
Gotta be thinking about the scariest thing that could happen is this list. I'm assuming it's got to be playing, Seedborn Muse.
Seedborn Muse is a big problem. Yeah, that one would be an issue.
Now that the One Ring is here, Seedborn Muse, you got Kinnan activations, you've got draws. Yeah, that's
looks like Arcane Signet gonna be deployed afterwards. That's another good one. Mana neutral just by playing it, thanks to Kinnan.
Yeah, absolutely.
4 mana left over. It looks like no further effects as we pass over to TTC, who has been relatively quiet as far as the politicking goes. A lot of the other players, the blue players especially, have been very much in conversations about what to pay for and all that kind of stuff. Haven't heard as much. I think we might, I don't know. To me, that speaks to potentially having a pretty strong hand, in my opinion. Of course, it can go the other way where your hand's just really weak and you're like, whatever, I have nothing to say. But given the performance of TTC so far, they're in our top 16. I think we might, your sleeper pick might actually just have something real good going on after all.
I'd like to think I have a pretty good eye for things. It definitely could be, waiting out to see everybody else use their own interaction. Before going
the hammer
into
pass is going to be super shocked in. That's going to deal 3 damage. And Goblin Crater Maker is going to be the follow-up. That will trigger Ristic Study, but will not trigger Esper Sentinel. Now, this is a little bit better than it looks. Threatens to kill the Kinnan at just about any point, which can be extremely powerful. Of course, can pick off random creatures as well. I believe can also pick off artifacts. So if we want to answer something like the Grim Monolith or, whatever, if you want to get crazy with it, no shortage of targets for this Goblin Crater Maker in play. And we get to make another one in combat thanks to Riona. And then we're going to do that right now.
Oh, yeah. Destroy target colorless non-land permanent. If only the One Ring did not say indestructible.
Yeah, the One Ring's indestructible. You can't target that one. That one's not going to happen.
If only. Yeah, but you
no
can definitely
targets, though. I mean, Tymna, Esper Sentinel, if you want to go after the Mardu player. Realistically, Kinnan looks like the juiciest target to me. But, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe the Grim Monolith is scary. I really don't know.
Yeah, you have 2, thanks to Riona. So you could leverage 1 to get rid of the Kinnan and then move past on another target for like a Grim Monolith or the Grim Monolith.
Tough spot, because you have to crack your Sandstone Needle. You can't wait on the second one if you want to sacrifice that one. And I think it's also a tap ability. So just by attacking with it, I believe that signals that we are not going to be using it this turn, which makes some amount of sense.
Yeah. Now I'm looking at it. That makes sense. Oh no, the sack. I think pay 1, sacrifice.
Just sacrifice it. Okay. So no, definitely still right. But it does look like we're not going to sacrifice the Sandstone Needle to blow up our Goblin Crater Makers. Just keep that in the bank. That makes a fair bit of sense. In case Kinnan, Basalt Monolith on the stack, you're going to need to blow up the Kinnan. You don't want to open yourself up to that if you can.
Makes
also
complete
represents
sense.
Like a blocker if that matters. Who knows? It's going to be worth more as the time goes on, and that 2 mana from Sandstone Needle also might represent something more on a future turn. Either way, Fever Hercules over to his turn, attacking with only a Tymna. It looks like. Have to imagine that's going at Temujin, and of course going to get that life link going so that you get to go life positive. Remember, can't attack the Kinnan player thanks to protection from everything, making your attack not matter.
Yeah, and TTC also has now 2 creatures, so that Menace is not as good anymore.
Not going to work anymore. Nope. And Riona's huge. It's like a 3/4 or whatever. Good luck.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Anyway, card coming for Fever Hercules. Scrubland is going to be played as the land for turn. Reaching for treasure mana. We exiling card? No, okay, we made a treasure. I see.
Indeed.
So, a lot of mana for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let me see. 10
Yeah.
mana.
What can they play here? They can play Adnaz, 10 mana. You can also see a Hoarding Broodlord.
3 colored sources. Arcane Signet paying for Rhystic Study.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
Maybe
good.
maybe signaling that we don't really have any other plans for the rest of the turn, not using the Ancient Tomb.
Yeah, interesting. Hmm.
And I mean, we have 4 cards available for us. Like I said, off the professional Facebook. If we really have nothing going on, we could go for that. But if they're kind of weak cards at all, like you're feeding Rhystics, and that's just not great.
That's true. Yeah, especially with all the card advantage that Wounded Satellite has kind of put out on the board, anyways, with the Ristic and the One Ring now, as
Yeah,
well
like
as Cannon
Tibia and Professional
Execution.
Facebreaker are strong card advantage engines in their own right, but weaker than Rhystic Study in the One Ring in this pod composition, I would confidently say.
100%. I agree with you there.
All right, maybe a little
Yeah.
bit more follow up. Ancient Tomb, 2 life paid here. Tapping Mox Diamond as well. Looks like Wishclaw Talisman. And it looks like we
Okay.
are also paying for Rhystic Study here. How responsible.
Yeah. It's actually pretty good at the moment. Only person who's going to be playing an opposing dockside here is going to be Rionia, so that makes sense. Still have what 5 mana open.
Yeah, 4 or 5 mana left over. I mean, this is like something, right? Like what can we tutor for that wins in the spot? I don't think Ruthless Technomancer works yet. Dockside makes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
And then you could use Facebreaker to like really get things started.
Yeah, try and storm off through that.
And then Dargo costs 1 if you find any of the Dargo combo pieces. Maybe you're actually cooking. If you have something like just Mayhem Devil dialed up already, or if you have Docs, if you have one of the other Dockside or Mayhem Devil, like those 2 cards would look really good in conjunction here. You just kind of wrath the board.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see here.
Well, looks like that resolved. We passed. Temujin drew and passed, and then we took damage from the ring. After the damage from the ring, we drew 2 from the ring and now have drawn for turn. Down to 31 is Wounded Satellite. Did not get a
it's
good
a
listen
lot
to
of
the
draw.
mana roll, but down to 31. Still plenty of life to work with. Basic Forest is the land for turn. So it looks like there wasn't any combo plans for Heber this turn, which makes some sense. Trying to fight through One Ring protection with something like Mayhem Devil doesn't actually work very well. And also, you might just be able to set up for a very protected kill with something like an Abolisher or whatever on the following turn. But it does open up Wounded Satellite to have a really impactful turn here. A lot of cards coming from the One Ring. Still have a lot of mana thanks to Kinnan. We'll see what Wounded Satellite can put together here. I expect a big turn.
Yeah, absolutely. And one has to be thinking, where's the interaction going to come from? Because this is a ton of mana, a disgusting amount of mana that Wounded Satellite has. So yeah, I definitely am expecting something big as well.
Yeah, Goblin Critter Maker still hasn't gone after Kinnan. Pongify. Can't get a great listen what that's going for. Of course, destroys a creature, makes a 3/3/8. Don't see that one as much, but if you're in blue and need some removal spells, it'll get the job done.
Yeah, you gotta do it. Gotta assume it's targeting maybe one of Hebrew's creatures here.
Yeah, I mean, no, it might be Ryona. I don't know.
Could be Riona as well, but
it has to be something from TTCs if we're sacrificing Crater Maker.
Yeah, propose a trade here.
Yeah, I think that's going after Kinnan, which makes a lot of sense. Red mana floating for TTC.
Yeah.
The players are thinking on that, seeing if we want to maybe do an activation or whatever in response.
Yeah, before it goes, though, you do have so much mana. You could just
you can just replay it. If you want to like float mana, you could just like float mana and replay it, which might be what we're thinking about as well.
Yeah,
we see some separation of mana here. All right, so Kinnan gonna go to command zone. No mana floated. And like I said, I had to imagine that went after the Goblin Crater Maker. Is this a Basalt Monolith? What are we doing here? All right, Kinnan. Replay for 4 mana. All the lands are tapped. Arcane Signet, Mana Crypt, and Elvish Mystic, the remains. Make 5, 6, 7. Invasion of Ikoria X is 5.
Oh,
That
Seaboard
grabs
Muse.
Seaborn Muse.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
that
Seaboard
one I
Muse.
don't think can happen. I think that one needs to not happen. So there's some pressure now on the table. Temujin, the only other blue deck. Hard to counter this otherwise. Maybe something like an opposition agent from Hebrew Hercules could be really strong. Make sure it's on the list real quick.
Yeah.
It,
Opposition agent would be great right now.
I don't even see it in the list. Oh, maybe there's no opposition agent from Dargo Timna in the deck at all. Oh, well, this could be a problem then. I don't think if you're Temujin, you could let this happen. And with Temujin still being stuck on black, or no black mana, I mean, this might be a tough spot. Even interacting here, what happens on, Hebrew Hercules' turn? You need to have kind of interaction for both. But, under Mystic Study, I think you kind of can just put Wounded Satellite on the hook to have Hebrew Hercules covered if you stop. And I do think you need to stop this. Seaborn Muse is, I mean, that's close to lights out right now as it's going to get if you untap
Yeah, we were just talking about it. Yeah. Seaborn Muse on this board right now with the one ring here at 2. You're drawing what, a 3, like 9.
Oh yeah, you untap the one ring too. Sure, I was just thinking about hidden activations alone. Yeah, whatever.
No, yeah,
untap the one ring too. So sick.
Cool. Yeah. Jeez, you're drawing so many cards before you even untap. It's for your turn specifically. Yeah.
Well, battles are kind of hard to counter, like Swan Song or whatever doesn't counter them. It is a non-creature spell, so things like Fierce Guardianship still works, but of course, Temujin does not have the commander in play quite yet. But if there's a removal spell, like Swords to Plowshares or whatever, that can also just check the Seaborn Muse. There's a lot of ways to stop this, but if all this just happens, I mean, I have trouble seeing a path to victory for the rest of the table other than a Wounded Satellite.
Yeah, I think the fear here for Temujin is it seems like they have no black source, so they have been kind of stifled on progressing their own board state, and they're probably holding on for interaction to kind of help that. But yeah, if you've got it, you got to use it now. There's no doubt about it.
And I think Hercules just now realizing the Esper Sentinel was supposed to trigger on the Ponga file a long time ago when they were looking for answers. Yeah, that one we missed. And there is the Seedborn Muse. Very correctly called that one out. Looks like pretty obvious from here. Now the pressure's on the table. And this is where, people like Hercules and maybe even TTC can help out a little bit. Having a removal spell does get the job done. Now, hard to kill with with damage, because it's like a 2/4 or whatever. So like Lightning Bolt doesn't get the job done, for instance. But Swords to Plowshares works. All these
Swords works.
Yeah, Path to Exile, whatever.
Yeah.
Soul Partition. That's a card that works.
Soul Partition is a card. Yeah. Anything really. Yeah, this cannot stick. Because
I think we're talking about the miss trigger for Esper Sentinel right now. So there's going to be a little brief pause while they talk to the judge. But while they do, I think it is time to go searching for how many removal spells they have to get to stop this from happening. So it looks like the Dargo Timna deck does contain a Path to Exile and a Soul Partition.
Both of those will work.
No source. Oh, there's a March of Otherworldly Light, but you have to pay X5. That's tough. That is tough to do.
Let's see. Do we have an Abrade? Maybe. Nope. That won't work. I keep forgetting. Indestructible.
Nothing works. Swords and Path for the Tivit deck. So multiple answers there at instant speed as far as removal spells go. And Rionia, I'd be surprised if there was a way to damage this thing for 4 at instant speed, but there could be. Pyrokinesis, there's one. Bam.
Pyrokinesis
will work. Could have Pyrokinesis.
Yep. No, if they don't answer this, that's 12 cards being drawn.
Oh, and Hercules had the Swords to Plowshares, but Wounded Satellite had the mental misstep.
Yeah.
And here we go. We get the Spell Pierce, the mental misstep. With Kinnan having used all the mana this turn, there is going to be a Mystic Study draw, but we may have run the Kinnan deck out of mana. And the Spell Pierce now live.
There we go.
Oh, it must be Force of Negation was pitched, because I thought it was Force of Will at the early game. Yeah, that must be Force of Negation. Whatever. Functionally the same card. Except right here, Force of Will. This one doesn't really matter what it targets, I don't think. Swords to Plowshares or Spell Pierce, unless SWAT gets involved in the mix, which now opens up another line for TTC to be able to interact as well.
Yeah, definitely. We need all hands on deck here.
Yeah, any further interaction? I mean, like what we talked about, the Seaboard Muse can't happen.
Yeah, and it looks like the stack resolved. Uh-oh.
It looks like Wounded Satellite, I love this, is going for the, it's not that bad, guys, I promise. He's claiming that Hercules is just going to win on their turn, but if pay-per-views happens, that is almost assuredly not what is going to happen. Mystic
Absolutely.
Study, One Ring, yeah, no, that is
Yeah, Kinnan
not going to get stopped.
activations out the wahoo. You've got
But I
12
respect it. I don't think
cards
Wounded
being
Satellite
drawn.
wants to be on the hook to interact, and obviously wants to untap with Seed Bar Muse, and looks like is going to be able to. Well,
Ooh, yeah,
that's pretty bad. I think
it's
your
really bad.
sleeper's time is now. If Rionia wants to win this game, we need to see something like a Combat Celebrant right now. And we are here on Upkeep activating, I believe, Kinnan.
Oh yeah, it's not looking good.
No, it is not. And here is a Kinnan activation. First of the game.
Let's see.
But
What do you
of
get
course,
off
maybe
this?
just when the game is over. Let's see. Even a brick here is even a good sign. The One Ring still works. Ristic Study still online. But a
Yeah.
brick would be step one.
Yeah. Best way to beat somebody in a game of Magic is hope that they beat themselves.
Yeah, I mean, always better lucky than good. And I think the rest of the table needs to do a lot of getting lucky here.
Yeah.
And I think that's a Glenalendra Archmage.
Yeah. Let's go look at this card real quick.
That one's really hard to beat. if you are not winning with specifically creatures, which of course doesn't stop Combat Celebrant. So maybe, maybe TTC has a window here.
Yeah. It definitely puts the players on notice. Rionia is still kind of okay with that counter target non-creature spells here. We got an Urza Saga, so could be searching.
Urza Saga, that's mana 3. Of course, first trigger makes it make mana, so we're gonna do that.
Yeah.
One Ring is going to draw 3 cards, and I have to imagine we're doing this on instep. So if there's no effects from TTC, then I think that our Rionia's days of potentially winning this game are quickly being sunset as we pass over to Hercules, the second, I'd say the player in second place as far as board states go. We will see if we can get around, first of all, the Kinnan activation. Second of all, the Glenalendra Archmage, which is just a problem. I mean, Grand Abolisher gets around it. We have things, but it is getting hard.
Yep. And don't forget, there's still a Ristic Study. So any kind of plays that you're going to be making, you still got to pay for, and that hurts.
It's not ideal.
No, not the best place.
The one thing that's nice is if you do go for something like an Abolish or Kill, the Besieging has already been used. There's Gilded Drake is the find.
Yep, that'll do. Let's see, Gilded Drake. What do you take here, Drake? What do you think? I think you definitely get rid of the Professional Facebreaker.
That's tough. Hold on. We're choosing a target.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the Tymna is the target. Yeah, okay. So based on what they just said, the Tymna is the target. That makes some sense. I mean, you get like more cards. You can shut down some of the cards that Hercules has access to. In my opinion, I think you're right. It's either the Facebreaker or the Tymna. Those are the best cards on the battlefield. Rionia, I don't think adds anything to the mix for you at all, except getting it off the battlefield, which clearly isn't that much of a problem if TTC is not going for something like a win. But that's like one of the more tame upkeep hits I'd say that we could find. I think the players did get a little bit lucky with that one. No Void Winnowers, no Hullbreaker Horrors, nothing of that like sort that would be very, very difficult to beat. Of course, Absolutely. We've already drawn, after we draw 4 cards this One Ring, it's going to be 7 cards. That's going to be a lot to have to beat. But with Wishclaw Talisman, I think this has to be Hebrew Hercules' window. We will see what they go for. Once again, we expected a big turn from Wounded Satellite. I expect a big turn here from Hebrew Hercules.
Absolutely. Yeah, this has to be the time because it seems like the sun is setting on this game if we get back to Wounded Satellite on their turn. So yeah,
even Temujin, like what are they gonna do on their turn? And that's just more. It's more of a Wounded Satellite turn than a Temujin turn if we don't find black mana. So it's just like
absolutely, yeah.
The time is now, and I think Hebrew Hercules knows it. Taking a look at the board state, seeing what we need to do in order to present something that works.
Yeah, definitely.
Grand Abolisher has already been brought up, so it's not like we know about Grand Abolisher, but the question after Grand Abolisher is then what?
Yeah, Grand Abolisher does not win the game itself.
You still need to have a win. Like, you can shut down One Ring, you can shut down Glenalendra, you can shut down all the problems that we see right now. Not, of course, not speaking for anything in hand, but you shut them down. But then what?
Indeed. interesting here. So it seems like the Wish Claw is being activated.
Yeah, it looks like we're using Ancient Tomb mana. Activate the Wish Claw. Hero Hercules doesn't seem so sure about what direction to go here, but looks like there might be a line. I mean, obviously you can't just grab something like Ad Nauseam or whatever, it just gets countered by Glenn Ledger, we're done here, right? So there's no just like obvious just kill them unless those cards are in hand. You could just go Abolisher that card. If you have Abolisher already, maybe you could consider something like a Abolisher into Final Fortune.
Would be my thought. Yeah, buy you some time into kind of getting a win here and have the most mana possible, especially now that nobody can interact. But
I like this One Ring activation now in response. So in case it's like the answer is something like Orcish Bowmasters to start picking off things like Glenelendra and Kennen and stuff, that you can stop that from happening ahead of time.
Absolutely, yeah. And not feed a Bowmasters for 4 or whatever.
Right. That's like a card that could potentially be your undoing from what we know, because there, it's a bunch of fragile creatures in play that answer non-creature stuff well. Of course, you want to make sure you also get that burst of cards if there's anything that would like stop it or go on top of it or whatever, what have you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that makes sense. Yeah, really good plays from Wounded Satellite this game so far. So
lot of politicking about who to give this Wish Claw to. I like giving it to Temujin a lot. I think that the table needs help if they want to break out of this Kinnan lock, and passing it to that player to potentially do something of consequence on their turn is an important part of the mix. We'll see exactly what they decide, but I know I'm not one to say anything with any level of confidence for the most part, but Temujin has been very behind this entire game. And like you mentioned, if we get back to Wounded Satellite, it's all the lights out. Like there's no real two ways about it.
Yeah, we're really cleaning up if we get over there. So yeah, Hero definitely has to shine right now. What could you be getting off of this Wish Claw that can help? I think
I have trouble seeing anything that works that isn't Abolisher. It's just everything just doesn't work. It's like either you get Glenelendrid, you get whatever, just counterspelled, or you get drawn out via the Rhystic Study. Like maybe some combination of Abolishers plus other stuff works. Maybe something like Mayhem Devil could start to get the job done. You do have access to 3 treasures, but from what I'm seeing and what I'm reading, if it's not Grand Abolisher, I plus obviously something out of hand that matters. I don't know what we're going to be able to present.
Yeah, Mayhem Devil is a good pick. You can start picking off a lot of those creatures there. Yeah, you've got 3 treasures. You can kind of
no time at all. There he is, the G Abolisher.
You were correct. Yeah, that's pretty good.
So just Rhystic Study. See if you remember that. Probably doesn't matter. That
yeah, at this point, what's 1 card to 20? It doesn't matter. It's
notably that the Force Will's gone. Like, what else works? Like, if you're going to counter this Grand Abolisher, it has to be something like Pact of Negation. Or what?
Yeah,
like straight counterspell. Like, what do we have?
Yeah, Pact. Let's see. Looking at the list here.
There's a Mana Drain in the deck. Wow.
Mana Drain. Mindbreak Trap.
Mindbreak Trap's not on the line. You'd have to pay full retail, but we do have 4 mana for it.
Yeah, that was my thought too. At this point, if you're just trying to get to your turn, you can stop that and let it go.
We have an Otawara to potentially like bounce it or something. I mean, do that. I really don't know. There's not a lot.
That's true, but I think he did play the Otawara as land for turn, if I'm not mistaken. Is that it?
Yeah, I played the Boseiju. I think he still has the Otawara somewhere in the mix.
Oh, yeah. You're right. So yeah, Otawara, bounce it. Force him to.
That's about it.
Pay for it.
Yeah, it's like Otawara and Pact of Negation and Mana Drain. Those are the cards that appear to work. And a Mindbreak Trap, of course. There's like 4. Now, we have looked at a lot of cards, but not that likely. It just works. This might still just be like okay, Grand Abolisher Nas because I have to and hope that gets there.
That is fair. Yeah, you could do that.
And Wounded Satellite, of course, loving this position. Yeah, I mean, team, we got to stop this from happening. He's going for win here. We really got to stop this. It's just the most overwhelming board state.
Anybody, please.
Yeah, you gotta love the position, and this is part of the power of these cards like Cannon and stuff. Like, yeah, obviously, Wounded Satellite's the most likely to win, just like if things were to continue. But you in these spots, you're like, hey, I'm not winning the game. Like they're actually trying to win the game. I'm not even trying to win the game. I'm just putting stuff in play, drawing a few cards. What's up?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, actively. You got to look at what's happening right now versus what can happen potentially in CDH, and right now,
3-mana taps from TTC. What could this be?
Yeah, 3 mana from Rionia. Let's
Chaos Warp? Yeah, it is Chaos Warp.
huh.
The professional Facebreaker is getting Chaos Warped. That triggers Ristic Study. Should also trigger Esper Sentinel. Yeah, which we're going to go ahead and draw from as well.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Very interesting to see that Chaos Warp not used on Seaborn Muse.
That is exactly what I was thinking. I was like, I just would have hoped that would have been used earlier.
I mean, it speaks like a position of power. Like you're just not worried about it.
That's true. Yeah.
The table a little miffed at the same thing that we're confused about.
Yeah, but I guess the idea there was Wounded maybe had something for that. So
a lot of creatures in Hebrew's deck. I don't know. It's not that unlikely to also just flip something off the top. Let's see. I'm actually really excited about this Chaos Warp. Hopefully we hit something nice.
Chaos effects are so fun.
I love them. It's part of the reason I love like Bergie and stuff so much. It's just like the Wild Magic Surge, Chaos Warp, Tibble's Trickery. Like those are just cards that are CDH power level for mono red decks. And like they're just so, I mean, they're obviously worse than like just the flat works like Terminates and Vindicates and Counterspells or whatever, but they're so cool. They're so fun.
Yeah, love them so much. I recently just watched I think it was a Ristic Studies.
Sacred Foundry the find. That one comes in untapped. If you want to pay 2 life, which he does. 25 life points remaining for something like a Nas. Of course, Grand Abolisher still on the stack when this is happening. So there'll be 7 mana left over. Temujin looking at options as well. All these counterspells coming down now, or interaction coming down now, when the Seaborn Muse has been allowed to go wild is very strange. Silence cast. That will trigger Ristic Study and Esper Sentinel. Draw from Ristic happens. It looks like it sounds like there's some politicking that happened with the Grand Abolisher. They were asking like what the actual threat was going to be, and are firing off interaction as a result of nothing being said. And now, I mean, silence is going to stop the turn, and unless there's a final fortune, which will get stopped by Glenn Alondra. Here is Scalding Tarn is the land for turn. And remember, the Sacred Foundry, of course, came off of the Chaos Warp. And it looks like this silence is gonna happen. And yeah, that's just gonna be it for Hebrew Hercules' turn. And over to Temujin we go. Any black mana to do anything at all? Is Wounded Satellite gonna do anything in upkeep?
Yeah.
Does not look like it. Chrome Mox is the find. That triggers both draw effects. Both players are gonna draw. Pact of Negation up under it. So much interaction from the Tivit deck.
Yeah. Had to be sitting on a lot of that.
Still no black mana, and here is 5 cards for Wounded Satellite from the One Ring going to happen on Temujin's end step. Also has Kinnan activation if we want that. Glenn Alondra still in the chamber, and I don't even know what a path to loss looks like for Wounded Satellite from here. We will see exactly what we can get done. White cards can sometimes get really tricky as far as silences and stuff like that go. And there's Tide Spout Tyrant. Yeah. Now we need any card at all.
Go infinite.
Actual anything for Mana Crypt to just work.
Just
And you
breathe,
with
make
Arcane
mana.
Signet, we're just there, yeah. Okay, here you go. Take 5 for my One Ring, thank you. Here's 6 cards for the One Ring, and what a powerful debut for stream for me. I've not seen this card on camera in action yet, and what a powerful performance alongside Seedborn Muse we've seen from the One Ring here. And
Yeah.
we're gonna very quickly reaching for that mana crypt. Float some mana. Here is a Mox Opal that will trigger Ties About Tower, which will target
Yep.
mana crypt.
There you go, infinite mana right there.
Infinite mana of both colors. That'll trigger the Esper Sentinel exactly once, but no wrist sticks to play around from there. Could actually pay. Doesn't matter. Other kings cost 0. So can pay for every wrist stick study at the table, and you are fine. You still make infinite mana. And yeah, we see this is gonna be it. We're just casting stuff now.
Just for free. Yeah.
I mean, here's Void Winnower from hand. Start picking up all your permanents. Finale for X's is infinite. They all get haste and a bunch of damage. You're all dead.
Yep.
And that is exactly. I mean, I really enjoy how quickly Kennen gets the game over with. We've seen other decks that really, once they get the entire board state locked down, aren't really that quick to get the game over with. When you're talking about a Kennen deck, it's right away. It's either Gracias, draw my whole deck. Here's Finale for a billion. You're all dead. And that's, I mean, we get to see exactly that happen. And it was really wild to see how much interaction was still left over in the tank after the fight over the Seedborn Muse. I think that really is what determined the outcome of this game, is that Seedborn Muse, we called out how powerful that was going to be, how quickly that was going to snowball the game. And multiple pieces of interaction came down for Grand Abolisher to stop the win. And I mean, that did save the players for a single draw step, like especially Temujin, who got one more draw step. But, you know, Wounded Satellite ultimately very far ahead, able to close the door on the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, once you hit that Seedborn Muse with the One Ring, it's really hard to be in a losing position there. And like you said, yeah, there was so much interaction that followed after. You have to wonder if that was drawn maybe after the fact, or
yeah, it could have been drawn for turn and stuff like that. But still, you know, like, so we saw, I mean, Pact, we saw, you know, Silence, we saw all this kinds of stuff, and a lot of interaction was available at the table. And we knew, I mean, when we talked about it at the pre-show, we knew that was going to be a tough thing for Hercules in that first seat to slog through, and Grand Abolisher was the way to do it. But I mean, the table had the answers. Wounded Satellite was able to pick up the pieces and secure a spot in the top 4 with Kennen Bonder Prodigy. Another extremely impressive performance from that deck, who, I mean, frankly, over the course of this year, we've seen kind of come from like a spicy brew of, oh, we're putting Void Widow in our deck, okay, into a dominant performance across the board in tournaments in the cEDH sphere. I mean, Kennen really, for me, it feels like it's come out of nowhere over the last year and a half.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I've been seeing it everywhere in tournaments that I've been going to, and each time it performs well. I think, you know, having an mana outlet in the form of Kennen with activated abilities. We were talking about it before, just having, cheap commanders that have these activated abilities. They are kind of running the format right now. You've got commanders like cedh, like Najeela, Kennen as well, just being able to get infinite mana and pour it into the thing that I brought on the table.
Something to do. There you go. Here's my thing. All of my commander skills work. My commander's cheap, and I have an outlet for the mana. And yeah, I mean, certainly the texture of what cEDH as a format is about now, dodging all the negates, dodging rule of laws, ristic study, stuff like that, getting underneath those, being able to win. And Kennen does it, arguably the best of the bunch. But a top 4 performance for Wounded Satellite. We will see them again for the final round. We will get a quick update from the our lovely tech person here on whether or not we have another match that we're going to jump to, or if we are going to go ahead and cut to a break and come back with the finals. Okay, all right. So awesome. We're going to cut to a quick break while we set up the next semifinals match. There are still, I believe, 2 underway. Maybe all 3. I don't know. This might have been the quickest of the bunch. We'll see. But we will be right back with more top 16 semifinals action from Mox Masters August in just a moment. Stick around.
The Mox Masters Invitational is an in-person cEDH tournament coming this October 20th through the 22nd in Columbus, Ohio. Earn points to qualify by playing in our Mox Masters tournaments. Tickets are on sale now. Compete for $2,000 in prizes and points towards the Invitational. Cash prizes are available to top 16 and points payouts to top 64. You can also earn points by playing in our monthly Patreon webcam league on our Discord. Cash prizes are given to the top 10 and points towards the Invitational are awarded to the top 25. If you don't qualify for the Invitational, don't worry. You can still attend and there will be plenty to do. We have a last chance qualifier on Friday. Cash prizes to the top 16, points payout to the top 64, and the top 4 automatically qualify for the Invitational. We will also be having a CEDH Open tournament on Saturday. Compete for $4,000 in prizes. Sunday we will be hosting booster drafts and on-demand pods all day long. Go to invitational.moxmasters.events for more info. We have Mox Pearl and Mox Ruby slots available. Be on a CDH or Legacy episode. Spicy brews are definitely encouraged. Patrons also get early access to videos, names in the credits of the show, exclusive videos, the opportunity to watch our gameplay recordings live, and even the ability to be on an episode. There are tiers for everyone, so go to patreon.com/playingwithpowermtg and help support the channel. We have merchandise available in our store. We have Playing with Power sleeves, logo dice, and lightweight coins all available. Go to playingwithpowermtg.com and help support the channel.
All right. Thank you all for sticking around. We are here jumping right into the next top 16 game featuring a pile of spicy decks. We're looking at Kess, Dissident Mage. What year is it? Going first seat. Second seat, we see a ton of game objects in play. And I think an ad nauseum on the stack for Nagila player. Then we see Braid's Arisen Nightmare in third seat there with a Massacre in the graveyard. Wow. There was a sweeper. There's all these stuff in play. All right. And then, of course, in fourth, we see another copy of Tivit Cellar of Secrets, another dominant deck in the CH meta right now in fourth seed here. And looks like a ton of Dockside mana present for Nagila. Maybe Grand Abolish in play. We might be coming right into a Nagila win off the back of an ad nauseum, maybe?
Yeah. It seems
from
like
34. That's a lot.
Yeah, it seems like we are coming in at a really crucial moment in the game right now. Oh, and they are going. Yeah,
they're already going. There's Thassa's Oracle, Eldamri's Call, Silence Among the Mix. Looks like it's not going to be needed. Yeah. Elvish Spirit Guide helps quite a bit. Pact of Negation for backup. Looks like that's not needed.
Damp Tutor.
There's not a lot of action here. Necropotence, 23 damage so far. Chance of Glory is a real good one.
Chance of Glory is 26. An insane card.
We're at 8 life points now. Is Duke 9R Underworld Breach? I think that one's probably a check mark, and then
that'll clean it up
just in case.
Yeah.
We're still flipping. Ranger Captain, 32 damage. We are at 2.
Yeah. I think we stop right here. I think.
We have Mana Confluence mana that I think we want to use. I mean, we have so much mana with Dockside and stuff that it made just nothing matter here.
Yeah.
I think we were looking for a way to short up with Thassa's Oracle Consult right away, but with LED in the graveyard and LED in play and the Breach in hand, let's see. What stops this from winning? Oh, okay. The cards are labeled over here for Mambo. We have Displacer Kitten, Drannith, Ristic Study. Those can be hard to win through.
Yeah, you got to definitely get rid of that Draenei before you do anything with the Underworld Breach. But
is there anything stopping tutoring? It looks like there's a second Drannith that's an imposter mech for Jay Wood. So you need to like pick something. You like have to pick everything up. Can we not?
If only that Vampiric Tutor was not Vampiric Tutor and anything else.
Yeah, now we're at 2 life. This is tough. But we have Eldamari's Call. If we have Spellseeker in our deck, which I've seen it play before, we could go grab Consult and then it's rolled up a Thoracle Consult. But I have to imagine we would not have flipped so much if we had that access.
That's true. Yeah. Let's see here. If this is pre-combat, you do Eldamari's Call, grab, I don't know, Derevi, or no.
Then we can't cast Najeela. It looks like Najeela's in the command zone.
That's true. Yeah. And double
there's no Spellseeker. What do we have? Looks like we're recounting the ad nauseum real quick. I think if you don't have it here, you start on Chance for Glory, and then does Salmon have lifelink? I'm trying to find a way to gain life because, like, we want to if you can Vampiric Tutor for like a culling ritual or whatever, like this becomes trivial. But
that's true. Yeah, you've got the Grand Abolisher here. Yeah, let's say you Vamp Tutor, then go Chance for Glory, and go to your second turn. Yeah, that could work actually.
But if it's just Enlightened Tutor is the only tutor we're allowed to cast alongside Eldamari's Call, that might not be good enough. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and Chance for Glory. That makes a ton of sense.
Yeah,
definitely. And that's gonna allow a Ristic draw to happen. I really love this like overlay that Mambo King's got going on. We can actually see what some of the cards are and stuff.
I love it so much. I'm so grateful. Even though it's got Tibet as a Tundra right now, but
there's like a Time Twister over like this guy. So I got there's some stuff going on. Birds of Paradise is going to get deployed. That one's fairly free to do if you're planning on winning this turn. And then to end step we go. Perhaps needing another draw step. No Mana Crypt threatening to kill us, but this is the last turn for Duke here. Yeah. Or Duck. I don't know. I'm going to go with Duke.
I think, Duke, Doug.
The Najeela player, if you will. Yeah, this is an awkward spot. When I was spending time on Najeela, this is actually the exact scenario that made me kind of want to reach for a Spellseeker. Something I talked about a little bit. And it's when you end up with all these creature tutors and you just don't have a way to just Thoracle Consult win, you feel a little silly. And I think that's actually exactly what we're running into. If we can Eldamari's Call for a Spellseeker, it was rolled up right there. But because we can't, we have to find something on our following turn.
Hamburg says it's Ducor. Ducor.
Decor.
Like
Decor. Oh, Decor.
Decor sounds nice. Something like that.
Sure. Whatever. The Najeela player, if you will. Yeah. All right. Next turn it is, and next turn, last turn. Remember, creatures are indestructible, if that's something that matters.
Yeah.
Upkeep, we have the Mystical Tutor. Well, that one's pretty good.
That's all right.
Yeah, there it is. Oracle Consult, all the backup. That grabs Consultation or Tainted Pact. Pick your poison.
Sounds good to me.
They're under Abolisher. That looks like it's just gonna do it. Yeah, we didn't see a Mystical Tutor off the ad nos. We're just thumbing through it. He was like, I don't know. I don't think there's a win. Never mind. We just have the Mystical Tutor. We had it all rolled up anyway. Here's all the backup in the universe. If you have an O2R for my Grand Abolisher, good luck.
Yeah, I guess just being as safe as possible. But yeah.
Well, it wasn't the cleanest. And we're at 2.
Yeah, go ahead and grab your win.
And it looks like we're just kind of going through the motions.
Weird. So
and the player's going to concede and Decor, if you will, moving to the top 4. Another performance from Najeela Blade Blossom. And of course, exactly what we were just talking about, right? These creatures that are cheap, activated abilities, advancing, making these deep runs, making the top 4. We see it again here. This time in a 5-color variety instead of a 2-color variety. And of course, access to Breach and Nauseam as well as the Derevi kill is what makes Najeela so strong. We see that manifest here in this game that looked like it went on for quite some time and came in for the climatic conclusion. And what a conclusion it was.
Yeah. That is crazy. I think, yeah, like we were talking about earlier. Yeah, these small, easy to cast creatures that have these really almost, I don't want to say broken, but just insane activated abilities.
Relevant. I like the term relevant. Like
relevant sounds good.
Activating this actually has an impact on the game. And that
Absolutely.
is, I think, a really high bar in CDH. And, both the Jila are the two confirmed seats of our top 4 that we have watched here. Have access to that, and that's been true of the last 2 tournaments I've participated in. I've watched. It's just very much what CH is about, and until we see either more cursed totem effects or people reaching for them, whatever, what have you, that just seems to be continue. What's going to happen here?
Yeah, we got in the chat right now. Be right back. Slotting cursed totem everywhere as a cedh.
Yeah, just everybody pick up your cursed totem. That's my argument. I think everybody should pick up your cursed totems. Whatever. Yeah, I love that card. I've always loved that card.
Cedh player, please don't.
I'm overrated. So either way, that will wrap up the second pod. Looks like we only have one more pod left. So we will take a quick break. And then we're going to either bring you next round, which will, of course, be the finals, or we're going to bring you that pod. But either way, we will be back very, very shortly with more CDH here at Mox Masters August. Don't go anywhere.
The Mox Masters Invitational is an in-person CEDH tournament coming this October 20th through the 22nd in Columbus, Ohio. Earn points to qualify by playing in our Mox Masters tournaments. Tickets are on sale now. Compete for $2,000 in prizes and points towards the Invitational. Cash prizes are available to top 16 and points payouts to top 64. You can also earn points by playing in our monthly Patreon webcam league on our Discord. Cash prizes are given to the top 10 and points towards the Invitational are awarded to the top 25. If you don't qualify for the Invitational, don't worry. You can still attend and there will be plenty to do. We have a last chance qualifier on Friday. Cash prizes to the top 16, points payout to the top 64, and the top 4 automatically qualify for the Invitational. We will also be having a CEDH Open tournament on Saturday. Compete for $4,000 in prizes. Sunday we will be hosting booster drafts and on-demand pods all day long. Go to invitational.moxmasters.events for more info. We have Mox Pearl and Mox Ruby slots available. Be on a CDH or Legacy episode. Spicy brews are definitely encouraged. Patrons also get early access to videos, names in the credits of the show, exclusive videos, the opportunity to watch our gameplay recordings live, and even the ability to be on an episode. There are tiers for everyone, so go to patreon.com/playingwithpowermtg and help support the channel. We have merchandise available in our store. We have Playing with Power sleeves, logo dice, and lightweight coins all available. Go to playingwithpowermtg.com and help support the channel.
All right. We are back with looks like Ikra Krom going first. We're trying to clear up the table a little bit here. And Yuriko going second. A lot of permanents in play with this Yuriko deck.
Yeah.
Korvold in third. And then Rog Sai in fourth. Okay, quite a long pot here for Rog Sai. I believe both Rog and Sai in play. That's usually not a great sign for that player.
Yeah.
And permanents everywhere. And I believe we're in the process of resolving a quick judge call.
Yeah. Is that a 1 on the core world or a 7?
Yeah, it looks like a counter on the Korvold from its trigger. Squandered resources, if that's in play and actually works, then you can draw a bunch of cards whenever.
Yeah.
But it looks like there's a gamble that is trying to be resolved. And maybe an opposition agent stopping that from happening or something of the like.
Yeah,
Might be the
that's
other way.
what
Might be
it's-
like a Wish Call Talisman, and then there's a opposition agent. But either way, it seems like an opposition agent is going to be taking control of a player while they are searching their library at this particular moment.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here. You got an opposition in play. It seems like a Mr. Grimoire is still on board. Korvold is either at 1 or 7.
Yeah.
My eyesight was better.
I think that's a 1. I think it's a 1 on the Korvold.
Got you. That's a lot less scary. Perfect. Okay, it's a 1. Okay. If it's at 7, it's like, okay, somebody's dying, but yeah.
I don't think that's where we're at. I'm not even totally sure whose turn it actually is right now. Like I said, I think there's opposition agenting stuff happening. So yeah, okay. So we are in Snake's turn. Lotus Petal is going to happen. We are paying for Ristic. Is Roxy going for a win here? Let's see. Well, what I can tell you is that we're in Snake's turn. Snake appears to be at 9. Lotus Petal is on the stack. And Ristic Study was paid for.
Okay, yeah. And it seems like they have is that 6 treasures up there? So if this goes through, a total of 7 mana.
Yeah. And then it looks like the squandered resources grinding station, all that stuff works. And so the table's talking about the potential for an instant speed kill from the Korvold deck.
Makes sense. Yeah, that's all their mana up to. Yeah, that's definitely something to think about.
Yeah, I don't even know. I mean, there's so many like so much potential for kills and wins here. And I mean, opposition agent appears to me to be the only problem.
Okay.
As far as like what you need to win through permanent piece wise, right?
Yeah. Someone in the chat just said it's a 1 on the treasure. Those dice have a logo on the 1. Okay, cool. So
yeah,
2 mana potentially available.
Well, here's Thassa's Oracle.
Okay, that's what you use 2 mana for. Yep.
Okay. Mystical Tutor with the Ristic Study trigger on the stack. That will trigger Mystic Remora from ADB playing Yuriko.
Yeah, there's an empty library here. We just came in the game. I wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, there's a consult in the graveyard. That I thought it was just revealed or whatever. No, it's actually that's the exile zone.
Yeah.
So this is a lethal Thassa's Oracle potentially. Mind Break Trap is going to be the find off of Mystical Tutor for Just Ice. Call it Justice, if you will.
Hey,
oh, there's. Okay, right. We have to figure out who to give Wish Claw to. We never did that.
Okay.
And we need to give it to an opponent now. So Wish Claw needs to go to somebody. And yeah, there's Thassa's on the stack. A Ristic Study that I believe cannot be paid for. And as a result, we have this Mystical Tutor for Mind Break Trap, which looks like it's going to stop that from happening. Now, I don't know if Just Ice here has any kind of wind rolled up. A lot of powerful cards in the graveyard and in play, so I'd be kind of surprised if there wasn't one. But given the game state's gotten here, I have to imagine there's something going on.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
And once again, this doesn't even
Claw?
speak to, can Unrivaled do some kind of instant speed win with Corvold underneath Squandered Resources and Grinding Station? I don't think so. I mean, I've never known a Corvold deck to do it. I don't have the deck list up in front of me, but I don't think so.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think. Like instant speed win in Corvo. I don't know if it's necessarily possible. I guess you could just search for, I don't know, REV Pyroblast. In the case that you needed to stop a win attempt. And let's see.
Well, looks like Snake got stopped. I mean, that Mindbreak Trap was drawn, that Mindbreak Trap was cast, and the Thassa's Oracle is in exile, and now no library, no mana. It looks like this might be the end of the road for our Rogside player here in the top 16, Snake.
Unfortunate. Connor just shout out, said Corvold can win with Dualcaster Saw at instant speed. Saw in half.
That's sick. Okay,
yeah.
Sure.
Why I always thought that was a sorcery. That is an instant. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I've not seen that card a lot. People were, you remember when people were like freaking out about that card? Be like, oh, this card is going to break in half, Dockside Extortionist, and then just like didn't do anything at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I just kind of forgot it existed, but yeah, no, okay. So there was potential for some instant speed kills from Unrivaled. We'll see. Didn't go for it there, but of course can continue to wait. I mean, you can literally wait until the last possible second.
Yeah, I guess when everybody else has played out, makes sense.
Oh, there's an emergence zone in play. How about that? I didn't even see that. Where did that come from?
Doesn't matter. Okay, we can do whatever we want.
Well, yeah, never mind. Nothing matters. And we are on instep of the Rogside player's turn. Emergence zone has been cracked. That triggers Corvold. A card is drawn for Unrivaled, and you can't really stop that too well. That's something like Trick Bind. Have to imagine that one's going to work. Things can be done at instant speed now.
Yeah.
Dockside Extortionist. Instant speed triggers Rhystic Study. Okay, that's a big Dockside count.
Yeah, that's gigantic. Really, and this is the time to do it too before Snake,
dies.
Around. Yeah.
And we've sacked a land to draw a card with Squandered Resources, making looks like a green mana. No, I'm sorry, we're paying for the Rhystic Study.
Yeah, might as well. All that mana you're going to make off of Dockside if you got it.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to make so much mana, and you get another card for your trouble. Yeah, all you need to do is make this work. A little bit of heads up, paying for Rhystic from Unrivaled. Just I saying they have nothing. We'll see if the Yuriko player with the fish in play has access to anything. Looks like a treasure's going to get cracked.
Yep. See here. Yeah, you definitely want to stop this.
Yeah, I don't think you can let this Dockside happen. So we have a mana cracked. And I believe this Sakashima is a copy of Corvold, so card coming. Demonic Consultation is going to be cast.
Forbidden Tutor. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's a tough way to do it, but it's a way to do it.
Yeah.
Now, remember that Unrivaled can just like cast stuff on top of this if that's where we're at. But given the seat position and all that kind of stuff, like the way he's holding himself, I don't think there's a lot.
Yeah.
Let this consult resolve.
I think he's waiting on that Dockside to come in. Trap. Yeah.
Emrakul, okay. Wow. Some spicy ones in here. I mean, it's a Yuriko deck. No Mindbreak Trap hit, so we're not just dead. Begin flipping. Torp or Orb. I don't even know what that is. Orcish Bowmasters. Lots of cards gone. There's the Thassa's Oracle.
Yeah.
Of course, Yuriko doesn't need Thassa's Oracle to win. We do know they play a lot of big creatures as well. Deadly Rock, there's Mindbreak Trap. Not too much stuff gone. Few painful ones. Mindbreak Trap's here.
Yeah, unfortunately, Yuriko's life total is also pretty low too, though.
Yeah, Yuriko at 12. Gonna die to a Corvold. I mean, we have a bunch of dueling Corvolds. Like, all the life totals are kind of low.
Yeah.
And Mindbreak Trap is gonna happen. We're responding with squandered resources, I think, which is going to draw a card. I think we're actually responding to the Ristic Study trigger too. So we're responding to everything. You can see Just Ice hovering the hand there, getting ready to draw. Another land going to go away for Unrivaled, making a green. So we have green, red in the pool, and another card coming from Corvold.
Autumn's
Squandered
Veil,
resources,
maybe.
enabling all this. Yeah, I mean anything, right? Blasts, Autumn's Veil. We could just be digging. Tap mana. This one's gonna make black. So we have one of each of the Jund colors, and it looks like Gemstone Caverns is gone. So we are all in here.
Yeah. Guess you gotta right here. Yeah, just trying to go for the win.
Mindbreak Trap, of course, exiling Dockside Extortion is an important bit here because that does stop all of like the reanimate shenanigans from happening.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, we have one more draw. We can sack the Grinding Stone to itself. And if we have any artifacts to cast, we could sack those as well, just like start cycling those, right? Like if you have a 0-mana artifact, you can play it, make mana or whatever you're going to do with it, sack it to Grinding Stone with the trigger on the stack, Grinding Station, and, draw more cards that way.
Yeah, you gotta, okay, so Darcy's coming in. Don't know that does anything.
All right, well, Jeska's Will after Dragon's Rage Channeler will trigger Surveil and also trigger Ristic Study. I believe they both triggered Ristic Study. So there's still a Ristic trigger at the very bottom of this, of course.
Yeah.
From the Mindbreak Trap.
Definitely. Justice Will is not bad here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just trying to figure out how this is gonna play out. Jessica's Will is really good here.
I mean, it's gonna make a lot of mana thanks to all the cards drawn off Ristic Study.
Yeah.
But Nas goes to the graveyard. We don't have double black for that. We're out of mana in pool. You have to find a red way to interact. So blasts are like the only thing that matters.
Yeah.
Animate Dead doesn't work. Pyroblast does.
Pyroblast is great.
That one's gonna work. I mean, there's still a lot of cards being drawn, right? We have Mystic Remora, we have Ristic Study. And that's the way that we can interact. And we can pay for all of the stuff like that.
Yeah, now with the Jessica's Will. Yeah.
Right, yeah, like we can start paying for the Ristics and Mystics if we want. I don't know if we do, but we can.
Yeah. Especially because
Pyroblast.
Fighting over this dockside, I think that dockside is very vital right now.
Agreed. What a clutch Pyroblast to have here.
Oh yeah, for it to be the last one revealed too, insane. That's hype.
Yeah, the third card down, so the DRC mattering alongside the Jessica's Will. Some great sequencing here from Unrivaled.
Yeah.
Doing a quick treasure count on the dockside. I don't know exactly what it is, but I think it's going to be more than enough to be lethal alongside Corvold, assuming we have anything that could really win at instant speed. Which underneath the Emergent Zone, I have to imagine a lot. Also, a lot of Grinding Station triggers if we want to do that. Go that angle. I don't know. If we have Breach in hand already, that could be something that we're in the market for.
Yeah, this is perfect, especially with Snake still being here. You're getting 2 from him. You are getting, I think a total of 10 is happening here. 3 from Justice. 10 treasures.
Yeah. Well, I think we might have already cracked 1. So I think we had 11. And now we have 10. We're going to crack another one down to 9. Yeah, we have second black. You can see over there on the left. Second black mana floating. Another card coming. And make that a green mana now. 8 treasures left. Corvold ticking up. Another card coming. And we're just going to keep going. 7, 2.
Dig for it. You've got
draw. A lot of moving dice around here. 6. Going to make a third green. Trigger Corvold. Pick that up to 11. Another card coming. So we've already drawn, what, like 5 cards?
Yeah, a ton.
We have something to do. 5. Make that 6 cards. 6 mana, 6 cards. Another card coming.
You still got the Animate Dead. If you had a way to sack the dockside, you can keep this train going.
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
we saw animate jet still in the exile. Yeah, you just have to find a way to sack it, and there's a lot of them in the deck. I mean, that's kind of part of the recipe here.
Right.
Like I said, don't have the deck list up, but things like Culling the Weak, things like whatever Dive can have plenty of ways to sacrifice or just kill it with a removal spell, Abrupt Decay, what have you. Assassin's Trophy. That one cannot target your own dockside, so it sounds like that's going after the opposition agent.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. So
that way you can get the searching back online.
And with that, and you've got so much mana now. Yeah, you're looking pretty good here.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what the kill is. Like I said, I thought it was like something like Mayhem Devil-ish related. Of course, Grinding Station does open up like Underworld Breach kills at instant speed. Let's see if I can find the Corvold deck.
Do Dual Caster. I know if they're similar to the Bad Nos list, then they can also play Witherbloom, Chain of Smog at instant speed, which is very funny. Eldritch Evolution on the there you go, getting rid of the
Eldritch Evolution that way. Yeah, that's a way to get rid of Dockside, and that's part of the cost. You can't even counter that one and stop it. So I mean, that's whatever, like 10 more cards.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, I think we can just more or less draw the entire deck. And looking at the deck, I did find it here. We do have a Mayhem Devil, so we can start finding a way to just loop the Dockside, use that to kill all the opponents. We have Ruthless Technomancer, which is the second time we've seen this combo in our top 16. That one, going to be able to, I believe, return the creature to play. We might just be getting that now.
Yeah. I see a lot of people saying Technomancer in the chat. That makes sense.
Yeah, and with like Dockside making like a gajillion treasures, that's just gonna be it right there. Yeah.
Wow.
And you can just sack your Corvold if you want to the trigger. I guess the way you do this is kind of foreign to me. I'm reading Ruthless Technomancer now. Enters the battlefield, you can second another creature. If you do, return or you make treasures equal to that power, and then you can bring something back. So you don't want to deck yourself with Corvold if you're going to go for a Mayhem Devil kill, but you do want to draw your whole deck. So I think you might want to like wait for the trigger, like on the stack, draw your entire deck, and then let the trigger resolve, sack your Corvold, make all the treasures, then cast Mayhem Devil, and then boom, we're looped with Technomancer. I think
sounds good to me.
I think that's what we do. I rolled up. I think this is deterministic from here, but we will see exactly how we plan to navigate this, as we are just making mana. And you only need to sack one artifact because it does check the power of the creature if you want to bring Dockside back.
Right.
We have more than enough mana floating, and we have one treasure left in the tank.
Phew. Yeah. Okay. Resolving Corvold trigger right now.
Yeah, okay. The 20 power Corvold is going to get sacrificed. All right, so yeah, this is a way to do it too, because you can bring the Corvold back at any point and just keep chugging.
That's true. Yep.
But I think you still need the Mayhem Devil, right? Because that's how you can like keep killing the Dockside.
Yeah.
So we do need to actually have that already. And I mean, if we're making this play, I have to assume we do.
Yeah, assume we got some kind of tutor, some way to get it with all the cards we've drawn. So shouldn't be too worried about it. Yeah, this is insane.
Finally chugging through that red, man. Only 4 left. We're gonna go ahead and activate Technomancer here.
Yep. Second Grinding Station.
That's gonna bring back Corvold
trigger on the
and then ATB on Corvold. So the ATB on the stack, we're casting something here. And activate Technomancer. Okay, so we can sack it to the Corvold trigger. Okay, so you actually just loop the Dockside with the Corvold, it looks like, because we just make so many treasures that it actually just, you can just afford to bring Corvold back, which I wasn't necessarily totally sure about, because whatever, it's like 5, 6, 7, 8, like 7 treasures or whatever to do that, just to bring Corvold back. But it looks like we make such a ridiculous amount of treasures that we can just do it this way, and this is going to loop, and we can make infinite mana, we can make infinite draw triggers, and we just have a win at instant speed here. I think this is all rolled up, and I don't think there's anything that the players can be sandbagging from this point they wouldn't have used already. And Corvold looking like it's going to be our 4th and final party deck archetype in our finals match here in just a moment.
Wow, yeah. We were
Yeah, I
talking
think
about all of these very small commanders with activated abilities. And here's like
Corval doesn't have any of that going on.
yeah, I was just about to say this is the exact opposite. Go big or go home with Corval. So that's really funny. Oh man. Okay, yeah.
Absolutely. And there we go. Yeah, we're just drawing more cards. I respect the precision here from Unrivaled. I think something I've seen happen a lot at cEDH tournaments is players mess up their win lines, especially when things get as complicated as it has here. It is very easy to, make some statements about drawing your whole deck or whatever, and then get got by, whatever. As we're setting those croms, all that kind of stuff. I do think that Unrivaled is going to have the check mark on this game, provided, once again, we don't mess it up. But I don't even know if there is a way to mess it up from here, given that everything happens at instant speed, including your creature spells and what have you. And, more or less, we could just draw our entire deck and make infinite mana at instant speed. But it is kind of, like I said, I don't think Corval's a mate. So this is something that we do kind of need to go through more or less one at a time. And as long as the players are still here for it, the players are still here for it. Game actions are happening, and we are that much closer, like I said, to I think the lethal Mayhem Devil that will come down here in just a moment, which fortunately doesn't need to even make that many pings to kill the table, who combined life total is whatever 50 or whatever. Here's the Imperial Recruiter, so that actually doesn't grab Mayhem Devil. I think it's 33.
Yeah, but you could grab maybe like a skirt prospector. Excuse me.
Yeah, just get a sack outlet for your dog side. Sure, that's fine.
Yeah, chat is going off saying Curse Totem stops this. I wish you guys would stop so bad.
Curse Totem would stop this. Curse Totem stops everything. Curse Totem is the ultimate, the alpha and the omega. Yeah, it is the absolute perfect stacks piece for the cEDH metagame right now. Nothing works. And part of the problem is, I guess, most decks also don't work. So,
absolutely.
I'm part of the equation.
Go to the next event, Eminence event or anything, and somebody is going to be like, oh yeah, Curse Totem, and I'm going to be so upset because of you guys. Thanks.
I mean, what put me on Curse Totem is someone actually played the Drana and Lidvala against me, and that's like an asymmetrical Curse Totem, and it actually just was really good. And like the entire board state, it shut down a ton of stuff that was problematic. Ranger Captain among the mix. But either way, calling the week here. That one going to add more mana. Of course, just another sack outlet. Again, something that, the reason I think we've been playing this out is the heuristic study considerations, but I think even those can just be paid for most of the time. So once again, most of this is a formality. And we are shortcutting the infinite treasures here, thanks to Skirk Prospector, Ruthless Technomancer, and
the Man Devil,
Dockside Extortionist. And then, of course, we will draw a Mayhem Devil eventually and win over the top.
Yeah. Chat's
in. And there's a Veil of Summer, but no Elvish Spirit Guide or anything like that. So that one would stop the Mayhem Devil, but I'm sure there's other ways to win. You can just do it in Upkeep or whatever. We are going to Just Ice's turn at some point. So either way, that is going to do it. Unrivaled going to join our finals pod on Corvold. And what an impressive instant speed win to happen there before Just Ice got to untap with all those problematic permanents and through multiple pieces of interaction. Impressive stuff, I would say.
Absolutely, especially at instant speed. Emergent Zone really coming in clutch there. That was an amazing win. I'm hype off of that. I'm so excited for this finals after seeing that.
Yeah, what a stacked finals we're going to have indeed. And speaking of that, I believe is our last pod. So we will be taking a very short break, and then we will be right back with 3 of the decks you've seen win so far. 1 you have not seen yet with the finals pod. All of it has come down to this. Thank you so much for sticking around. We'll be back with Mox Masters August in just one moment. Don't go anywhere.